Alright, so this looks like a familiar site, albeit in a different place, but we've got the main 4 shelves, or 4.5 if you want to count that little one. We've got the main shelving at Christmas Central, and we got, buildings on pretty much all of them, different things on all of them. So, we're done, right? Like, that's it, right? Well, obviously no, otherwise we wouldn't really have a video, so I apologize in advance, because this video probably isn't going to be aimed very well. But I'm just going to do a quick little overview here, and I'm also not going to do this for too long because, well, I don't know, I don't really need to or necessarily want to film myself on Christmas Central for like a whole video, which ironically might be alright in the future, but kind of wanted to talk about, adding details, like obviously we see the Christmas Village here, the houses, the rides, the various attractions and all that, and that's obviously what the main focus is, but maybe what goes a little bit under the radar is the little things. Whether they're literally, I had a bag of trees, here it is. I feel like Bob Ross. Add some happy trees, he had some happy trees. But basically what I'm getting at is, we're at the point now, this is actually one of my favorite parts, which is probably why I'm not going to film too much of it. And again, I'll explain that in a future rant. But this is the part where we start to add those little details. We start to add like little figurines and things. I've got a couple boxes worth of things. And, I am going to do a little bit of that on camera. I'm actually kind of glad I pulled these out first, because this is one thing that is kind of like really important to me, is kind of like these little, like, I don't know what you call these, like fences or whatever. Like, they just add a little extra depth to Christmas Central. Like, it's not necessary. I mean, I did Christmas Central for years without doing this kind of stuff, but again, it just adds like a little bit more of this world. It draws your eye in a little bit, Again, this is nothing like super duper, what's the word, revolutionary. And again, sometimes I don't even know where I'm going to put some of these things until I like do it. So I don't want to just assume like this is the final placement of any of this. But this is going to be a short video probably. But this is like kind of like the stuff that goes on. Christmas Central, to just kind of populate it, to make it more, bring it to life. I would say make it more realistic. I don't know how realistic this idea of this is ever going to be. And, also just like when I put up ornaments for the tree and things, this is a sailor guy. You probably can't see the top shelf right now because of where I have the camera aimed, but there is a lighthouse up there, and I always put this sailor guy with the lighthouse. That's like the only thing I consistently do. Because a lot of these things do change, believe it or not. I mean, whether I mean to or not, like, whatever's here like one year might not be here the next year. And again, these placements might not even be final. Final product might not be what you see, whatever the disclaimer is. But yeah, I mean, this is part of the show. There's little tweaks here and there. I'm not gonna say like every single one is important, but no, there is a rhyme or reason to this. It's not completely random. It's pretty random. Okay, I actually just messed that up. So this wall here. See why I might not film all this? Like, this might not be the most interesting thing to watch, but anyway, never stopped me before. All about that detail. Also, depth is something that's really come into focus on more recent Christmas Centrals, because I've kind of gotten to the point where I've maxed this thing out. Like, if you look at Christmas Central from left to right, up to down, it's on a two-dimensional plane, it's pretty much done. There's something occupying your vision in every, all 4 directions. So now it's like, how do I go, what's it called, the Z-axis? Like, how do I start adding to that? And that's where these little trees and ornaments and extra little touches come in, and that is obviously very important. Every year I seem to add a few more of them, and I'm happy to announce, there will be some from Nani's collection going in this as well, so there's even more here that, this is just a start, basically. But I wanted to make a little documentation of this. I do feel like it's important, to have that. And actually, I'm just so excited about this right now. I know it sounds stupid, I'm just putting little plastic trinkets out, but I'm so excited about just this part that I'm going to go ahead and cut the camera now. I'm going to do this. You're going to see Christmas Central again very soon, I'm sure, but it's going to be even more enhanced. So again, thank you all so much for watching. This was day 9, beginning of it anyway. But yeah, hopefully that gave you a little more insight. It's not just about placing some Christmas houses, but also the little things in between it. Again, not really breaking news, but I don't know. Invalid file format. Anyway, I'm pretty sure this is one of my Nani's, actually. Which means I should probably put it somewhere very, like, important. I don't necessarily know where that is, but we will see. But yeah, seriously, thank you guys so much for watching. Merry Christmas 2025.